There's another thing that the president spoke about, and that was about economy. And he mentioned that in 1963, the economy was about 4 point something 4. It was about 6.4 billion. And then Mzee Kibaki, Mzee Kenyatta, Mzee Moi brought it to 4.5 trillion. And the Jubilee administration brought it to 10.3 trillion, he says, which was in only 8 years. So he says that it has doubled it. But can you feel the effect of this growth on the ground, the GDP growing that much?
You know, Trevor, it is laughable with those statistics and figures. You ask yourself the fundamental question. When the president talks about 10 point something trillion of the GDP growth in his 8-year administration rule, you ask yourself, what are the trickle-down effects of these economics? Because all we want to see is jobs. His own government, the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, which is a government institution, is showing the opposite of what the government is saying. Yeah. Look at the economic outlook reports from KNBS, the latest one, 2020. They paint a gloomy picture of this administration. The economy is doing worse. Virtually all sectors of the economy have degenerated. There is no sector that is working right now. Even before COVID, if you look at, for instance, in 2019, the economy grew by 6.7%. It was projected in 2020 it will grow at in 2019 it was about 6.3. In 2020 it was projected to grow at 6.7%. Those are the projections by central bank. Worse off, Corona came, it struck us, and now we are having the projection the economy might grow at about 3.2%. It's fluctuating because you cannot really predict, because virtually all sectors of economy have been crippled. Yeah. So the figures the president is giving, juxtaposing with Kibaki administration and the Jomo Kenyatta administration, they could be correct, but the people are not feeling the positive effects of the economy. Yeah. Disposable household income is shrinking. The masses, the ordinary masses who are already overburdened, are not feeling the positive effects of this economy. Yeah. If you look at the Jubilee manifesto, both the 2013 and the re-election manifesto in 2017, the president promised that under the Jubilee administration we are going to have a double-digit economy, meaning they were projecting a growth of above 10%. But that is not the case. It has been the opposite. The only time this country, people have felt the positive effect of the economy is during the Kibaki administration. That is the time people were happy. At one point in 2003, Kenya was declared the most happy nation in the world because of the hope that came in. So I think we must tell these things to the president the way they are. Yeah. There is no need of sugarcoating, because a good leader must be told criticism, and he must take that criticism positively. Yeah. So, Trevor, I can tell you the figures, maybe the figures the president is mentioning are for the corporates. The multinationals, the corporates, they are getting all the profits. Yeah. If you look at Safaricom and these big companies, the banks, the big lenders, they are making that kind of money from the GDP. But the ordinary masses, the poor masses of the people, my village in Nyagokiani, in North Mogirango, where I'm aspiring to be member of parliament come 2022, they're crying foul of the issues in the economy. If you look at the basic things in an economy like water, water is a driver of both public health and economy. If you don't have water, you cannot do irrigated agriculture. You cannot do industries. Right now is when we are trying to patch up in Nyamira County, in Sironga, an industrial park, because we have an issue of water when we can harvest water all over to drive the GDP. We have about 2 million water connections in Kenya, when we should be having more of the households having this basic commodity of water, so that we can be able to drive economic development through water sector. Yeah. So that's why as a party called ANC, our rallying call is Uchumi Bora, meaning we want to have a robust economy that creates jobs for everyone. Yeah. So I think the president's figures was trying to create a good picture, and they could be correct, but the poor masses in the ground are not feeling the positive effects of this economy. Yeah. Worse off with COVID, the president has not even proposed an economic stimulus package on how we are going to exit from this pandemic. Tourism sector is hurting. There is no clear plan on how we are going to get out of this. Agriculture is worse. Yeah. If you look at all the industries, for example, in the former Western Province, go to Mumias. Mumias has collapsed virtually. Yeah. Right now, KCB, who is the receiver manager, has taken over because of 20 billion debt. Yeah. When other sectors like coffee, they are receiving debt, waivers. If you look at Pan Paper, it has been taken over. If you look at Malakisi Cotton Ginnery in Bungoma, it has been taken over. Many, Chemili, I can mention many. If you look at the tea sector, the payment of tea bonuses in Kenya, for example, my farmers in North Mugirango, they are receiving about 15 shillings per kilo in tea bonuses, when other farmers in the rest of the country are receiving double that amount, about 30. So these are the inequalities in the economy that we are speaking about, and we want the president to have an economic recovery plan. If the Jubilee administration doesn't have a plan, then we can be able to borrow, can give them a plan. And worse off, we are seeing the disunity between the president and his deputy. So if you don't have a united leadership, a united party that can be able to lead, implement the manifesto they promised Kenyans, then how can you be able to rally the country into leadership? They stole the former Prime Minister, Raila Amolo Odinga. You remember in 2017, the NASA manifesto was called Road to Canaan Manifesto. All the 10 million strong NASA supporters were supposed to go to Canaan and eat milk and honey. But it seems that it's only the former Prime Minister who has gone to Canaan alone and is eating milk and honey alone. So these are the issues we must speak to with the president and tell him we need an economic recovery plan out of this pandemic.